On today's show, I'm going to be breaking down who the Texans season truly relies on, and it's one coach and one coach only. And I'll give you a clue. It's not DeMeco Ryans, and it's not the offensive coach that you think of. It's not new OC Nick Caley. In fact, this Texans season relies on one person, and he goes by the name of Cole Popovich, the new Texans offensive line coach. He was the assistant O-line coach last year, 13 years of coaching experience, 6 years with the Patriots, and the report from last year is he didn't have much say in the offensive line room as an assistant, so we'll see how much of that is true. But on today's show, I'm going to tell you why the Texans need Cole Popovich to deliver. And I know a lot of people are excited about Nick Caley, and I know a lot of people are excited about a new Texans offense, but at the end of the day, if this team can't block, it's not going to be able to do anything. It doesn't matter how many good wide receivers you draft. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is. If you can't block, this team's going nowhere. So I want to ask you this right now from the top of the show. What is your confidence level in this Texans offensive line? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. Go down to the comment section. It's going to be the very top comment. Give me your honest answer. Scale it 1 to 10. 1, no confidence at all. You think we're going to be the worst O-line in the league. 10, you think a complete transformation. This team is going to have a top 5 unit in 2025. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I'm really interested to see where you are, and give me your honest answer down below because I will be looking. So, 5 reasons why Popovich is vital to this Texans season. Number 1, because the O-line coach is key. As I said, doesn't matter who you have throwing the ball, catching the ball, running the ball. You don't have any guys to block. If you don't have a good blocking unit up front, none of that matters diddly squat. And if you don't believe me, a guy on YouTube talking about it, here's former head coach Jon Gruden on the importance of an offensive line coach. The offensive line coach is the most important hire you're going to make as a head coach. That position, I don't care who calls the plays. You can bring Bill Walsh back. Joe Gibbs could walk in here. The offensive line coach is the most important hire you're going to make as a head coach. And Cole Popovich, Nick Caley, both of them have the same mentor, somebody who they both look up to as their number one, guy that they want to, model, replicate after. And it's famous Patriots offensive line coach Dante Scarnecchia. Because I think they're trying to recreate that, right? The reason why the Patriots had such a long tenure of success, yes, they had Tom Brady, one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it, maybe the best quarterback to ever do it, but also they had a good offensive line for most of the years in front of Tom Brady. That is key and gets us into our next point. You got to protect our king. You got to protect C.J. Stroud. I know, I was just mentioning Tom Brady, one of the best to ever do it, and some people, the jury's still out on C.J. Stroud. I'm not one of them because I think C.J. Stroud, if he had some talent in front of him, if he had some guys to protect him, is a top 5 quarterback in this league. Please, for the love of God, help out our QB1. C.J. Stroud had an average pressure rate last season of 39% on his dropbacks. 39%! That is god-awful. And look at some of the other top quarterbacks' pressure rates, right? Sam Darnold, a little bit more pressure rate, right? 39.1%, but less total dropbacks. Jalen Hurts, more of a pressure rate, but less dropbacks as well. Caleb Williams, 35.3%. Patrick Mahomes, 33%. Joe Burrow, 34.2%. And some of these guys maybe a little bit more mobile than C.J. Stroud, but still, he was getting absolutely terrorized last year. And if I could take you back to the Super Bowl, because a lot of people say best quarterback in the game right now, Patrick Mahomes, bar none. And I would agree, right? Patrick Mahomes is an amazing talent, one of the best quarterbacks that I've seen in my entire lifetime. But he had one of his worst games in Super Bowl 59, where he got pressured 38% of the time. C.J. Stroud was, on average, pressured more than Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And we saw how that affected the number 1 quarterback in the game. So if you don't think that had any impact on how C.J. Stroud played football this past year, then you're delusional. Because a guy who's getting pressured on more than a third of his dropbacks, how is he supposed to make anything happen? And there's numerous highlights from last year showing Stroud getting out of pressure, able to make things happen, and getting absolutely destroyed when releasing the football. C.J. Stroud is a top 5 talent in the NFL. Say it with me. C.J. Stroud is that guy. And if you still believe in CJ Stroud like I do, go spam those CJs down in the comment section right now. Because I am sick and tired of hearing all this bullshit about, oh, CJ Stroud might not be the guy. Oh, CJ Stroud isn't as good as we thought he was from his rookie year. Do you not watch the games? Do you not watch a lick of football? CJ Stroud is that guy. He is the franchise. He's the QB1. He's the person that will take this team to the promised land. We just got to put some guys in front of him that are able to let him work. And he hasn't been able to do that since his rookie year. And even in his rookie year, was pressured quite a bit. Number 3 on why Popovich is vital to this team. Because relationships mean something to the Texans front office and to their coaching staff. It means something, whether we like it or not, right? Popovich was the co-offensive line coach for the Patriots in 2019. Now, he left the Patriots due to difficulties with COVID-19 and the precautionaries that they had to go through as coaches. So he left the Patriots, but he would have been, in my eyes, I would have thought he would have been the Patriots offensive line coach right now if it wasn't for that. He's a Nick Caserio guy. Nick Caserio worked with him in New England, and he also worked with Nick Caley. So they want that continuity. They want that, synchronization of guys in the coaching staff, front office, everybody working together. And that was one big takeaway that I heard from Bobby Slowick being the OC, is that the communication wasn't there. It started and stopped with Bobby Slowick. They're hoping that doesn't happen this year, and they're hoping that Cole Popovich works with Nick Caley in tandem to get this offense right. I think that's part of the big reason why they went ahead and hired Nick Caley, is because they wanted to pair him with Cole Popovich because they worked together prior with the New England Patriots. And if you don't think connections matter, then why did the Texans bring in Jake Andrews from the New England Patriots? He has strong ties to Popovich. And I know what you're thinking, Jeremy, Jake Andrews, he didn't play with Cole Popovich for the New England Patriots. Yes, but Cole Popovich left the Patriots to go coach at Troy. And you see where Jake Andrews went. He went to Troy. So those connections matter a ton to this front office and coaching staff. If you don't think so, you are sorely mistaken. Another thing that Cole Popovich needs to do, this Texans front office has invested a ton in the offensive line and young guys up front. A ton of draft capital, investment, everything to getting guys up front that can help out CJ Stroud in this offensive line. Ariante Ursery was a second-round pick this past year who the Texans traded up to get out of Minnesota. They want him to be able to possibly be developed into our left tackle of the future. Blake Fisher, a second-round pick last year from Notre Dame, played some at right tackle. They're hoping that he can develop him as well into a starting tackle, maybe even guard at the next level. LaDarius Henderson, who we've all been talking about for a while now. He's a young guy who we're hoping the Texans can really, bring in and take to the next level. And it's funny enough because LaDarius Henderson has been getting a lot of work, and namely with Cole Popovich. So I know there's, the rumors out there, shout out to Dr. Barrett on Twitter, that a lot of people think that he could start. I'm starting to think it's more likely too. This is what Cole Thompson had to say on LaDarius Henderson. Despite not being a rookie, Henderson's departure from last season allotted him time to work one-on-one with new offensive line coach Cole Popovich. Ryans also said he noticed a significant transition in his body transformation, putting himself in an exceptional position to take another step forward in his career. So you're telling me a guy who values relationships was working one-on-one, hand-in-hand with the former Michigan Wolverine LaDarius Henderson? Yeah, I'm thinking he has a pretty decent chance to make something happen this year because they want these young guys to step up. They want the best 5 guys out there that can prove themselves. They brought some veterans in to help and, step in as needed. Some plug-and-play starting kind of guys like a Cam Robinson, like a Laken Tomlinson, right? They brought these guys in just in case they need somebody to play this year. But the goal is to have a lot of these young guys step up and be starters for this team moving forward. Now, I have one more reason why Popovich is vital to this team. Before I do, if you want a brand new H-Town shirt, the H-Town alternate, I got all the gear you need. All you got to do is go to chatsports.com/H-Town. They have hoodies, they have shirts, they have hats, they have everything you need in the brand new H-Town logo. So if you're looking to get swagged out with the brand new Texans logo, go ahead, with our friends over at Fanatics. That link, chatsports.com/htown, will be in the comment section and description of today's video. Go check them out and let Fanatics know that we sent you over there by using this link. Lastly, and why this is going to be so vital is because I think CJ Stroud, getting him to the next level, getting to where he's one of the elite quarterbacks in this league, you need a run game. I think the Texans need to start running the ball better and more on a more consistent basis, and that starts with what? The 5 guys up front. You need to help out Mixon by creating more running lanes. The Texans' offensive ranks in 2024. Yards per game, they were 22nd. Passing yards per game, 21st. 15th in rushing yards per game. So on the surface, not bad. They were in middle of the pack, right? That's where you're wrong. Because if you look at a lot of, the film, and when you look at it more closely, the Texans' O-line did awful against opposing teams whenever we were trying to run the ball. Sacks allowed, they were bad. 31st in the NFL. They allowed 52 sacks. The pass block win rate, 22nd in the NFL at 58%. This one right here, this is the main one I want you to look at. The run block win rate, 31st in the NFL. There's 32 teams. They were the second worst team in run block win rate, where you should have the advantage. You're trying to move them off the ball. You're trying to run the football. You don't have to, set back. You're putting your pads down and moving forward, and the Texans were god-awful. You know how many times I saw Joe Mixon have to bounce it outside and make a play happen because no holes were open? He had to make things happen on his own, and thank God the Texans had Joe Mixon, who I believe is a top 5 back in the NFL right now, because if they had a worse running back, I truly believe the Texans would have had the worst rushing attack in the NFL in 2025. Joe Mixon was a one-man wrecking crew, a one-man show, because this O-line did him no favors in 2024. So if they can at least give a little bit more, open up a couple more holes for Joe Mixon, this offense will run a ton more smoothly, but it all starts with the 5 guys up front, and it all starts with the guy who's coaching them in Cole Popovich. If he doesn't deliver this year, the Texans are screwed. The Texans offense is screwed, and we're going nowhere. We're back to zero. We're back to the starting point because we can't get past the best teams in the NFL if our O-line is going to continue to fail each and every year. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. If you want to continue the conversation, if you think I got something wrong, if you think everything I was saying was right, my DMs are always open. You can hit me up at Jeremy Chuggs. And if you made it to the end of the video and you're not subscribed, why not, right? You made it to the very end of the video. Subscriptions are 100% free. All you got to do is go down and hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton, helps our channel grow, and you get more Texans content for free.